Welcome to the Expert Edge. This is the show where we bring on experts in their fields of health and wellness practice, hear their stories, and learn what they see working in the field of diabetes reversal and prevention. And I'm really happy to introduce today's guest, Terri Schroeder. Welcome, Terri.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Terri is a professional certified health and lifestyle coach, also a high performance transformation coach. She's a former champion professional athlete, and she is translated into her amazing coaching career in nutrition lifestyle transformation coaching. So that's what she's doing now. But her athletic journey didn't start um, to stand as a star, center stage, and winning, but with a devastating virus. And so she's going to tell us a little bit more about her story in just a minute. But that experience really fueled her path back to feeling good again. She's had to overcome multiple challenges in her life, and she's going to share some of that with us. All of that has built for her a wonderful toolbox, the size of heaven, as she says, filled with knowledge, compassion, and loving support to share with her clients. She wants God to get all the glory for the work that she does in her work and is all about healing people, helping people to heal from the inside out because everything is an inside job. So I'm really excited to dive into this area of working with not just our bodies, but also our minds. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with your interest in this intersection of lifestyle and health. And you can spend as much time as you need to on your story, because I think it's going to really help people to see how this connects to whatever they're dealing with chronic disease.
Yeah, thank you. It's really great to be here, Lucia. And I love sharing not just my story, but where I've been and how I got to where I am today, because I think I end up being permission and inspiration. And my purpose is to be able to reach people out there that feel like they're alone and that their situation is unique or that they're broken. And I just want you to know that you're not broken, and your survival mechanisms, coping mechanisms that you've used to get to where you are today and to survive today, they may and most likely are no longer serving you. And that's what I call we come to the end of ourself. And that's where I have a lot of clients that come to me at that point. So because the work that we do to transform is not an easy task. And so you really have to have a vision and a desire and a willingness to do the work, the inside job, as I say.
So
Um,
how did this all start for you, though, Terri?
yeah, I was just going to go into that. I wanted to give a good lead up to it. I came from a very dysfunctional family, and my childhood was not that great. So it doesn't matter where you've come from. I had childhood sexual abuse. I had alcoholic parents, and although on the outside it looked pretty good, I was suffering as a little girl. So as you see me today, I look confident, successful, put together, and I am all of those things. So I want you to know that no matter where you're at, there's always choices, and there's always a choice to become responsible rather than a victim. So, my coping mechanisms and survival mechanisms were to make sure that you, my dad, my whoever, saw me, and I wanted their approval. And I'm sure that sounds familiar to a lot of people. And I never got it. So that was my driving force for me. Luckily, I didn't go to drugs or alcohol or any of those things. So I was an accomplishment junkie. I was driven deeply to be seen and to be loved. Um, and that got me through a lot. I can't lie. And it got me to a certain point and I didn't have the tools to break through to that next level, that glass ceiling, until I got the bird flu. I got
Oh,
contracted with this deadly virus, the bird flu, in 2006. And
wow.
it took me down. I was in and out of bed for 3 years.
Mm,
And when you go from being a vibrant, successful, athletic human being, and I felt like I was reduced to this person in bed just trying to survive
mm,
from 1 minute to the next. It was brutal, and I became that person that was all about the illness.
mm,
I didn't get any support from Western medicine because at that point in time, they didn't know much about viruses. And so I did my own research. And here's where life happened for me. And I want everyone to listen really, really carefully because this is a journey that I went on and I felt so alone. I actually was alone. And I have the tenacity to dig deep and never, ever, ever give up. And I did discover that about myself. So I just kept going down a path that I thought would lead to
mm,
feeling better. And when I got to the end of that path, I would, and it would dry up. I would find another. I'd look for another. I'd look for another. Because there were days that I would lay in bed praying to God to make it from 1 minute to the next. It
mhm,
was really that bad. And so the 3 years were really a journey of that. And I remember times sitting on my porch outside. I couldn't really eat. I couldn't
mm,
sleep when I was in one of these bouts where the virus would be attacking me. And I sat in the sunshine on my deck just to feel something that felt good
mhm,
somewhat amongst the nausea and the pain and all that. So finding little things that allowed me to take the next step or to move forward. And there were times when I did almost give up. And I thank God for my sister at the time. She really showed up for me there. So reaching out to people that love you, and listen to the intuition, listen to the God whispers. If someone drops into your head when you are suffering or when you're struggling, listen to that. Maybe reach out to them. Maybe they are going to be the door to the next path that could help you.
mhm,
So, the long and the short of it, it was a very long, grueling 3 years. And I missed out
mhm,
on a lot with my daughter. She was 9, I think, at the time.
mm,
I'd go to a soccer game and I couldn't stay. I would have to go home, go to bed, and all those things. So I missed out on a lot.
mhm,
And that was really sad for me. And I
mhm,
was super motivated to get better. So I went to nature paths and I went just to all this out of the box type of people to look for help. So my motivation was just to feel good again and to get back into my own life. And so I got to where I discovered all these things. I was allergic to wheat and dairy. I had no mucosal lining, and that's why this thing kept hitting me. And so a lot of things I just discovered, and I adhered to the shift and the pivot of what I learned and went down that path. And in about year 3, I felt good enough that I decided I wanted to start lifting weights again, or not again, to start lifting weights so that I could build some core strength. And there was this
mhm,
bone density thing that I heard about. So I did that. I hired a trainer because I didn't know anything about lifting weights, and I was 49 at that time. So I started lifting weights just to feel good again. And my trainer said to me in about 6 months, I got to get you on stage. And I said, oh, heck no. not in a string and a stone at 50. No, no. She said, okay, just train as F. So I did. And I stood on stage in San Diego. I went national because I was a high profile realtor here and I was embarrassed. So went national and I got second place and I had not felt better ever. So I just kept going. And one thing led to another. And, it was the journey that I went on. I would go to the gym and sometimes still feel very sick, but I wouldn't tell my trainer. And I would go and I'd work out hard, and she would have me doing things I'd never ever believed or dreamed I could. And I would make it through a particular challenging workout. I mean, mind, body, and soul. I'd get to the other side of it and I'd burst into tears that, first of all, someone believed in me. Second of all, that I broke through that barrier that I didn't, it was emotional as well. So I learned what I was made of. And every single time I walked out of that gym, I felt like $1 million. And so I'm super grateful for that journey. And 20 competitions later, 6 years later, I earned my pro card.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was the journey of seeking, chasing to feel good again. And I thought I would, feel 80% of who I used to be. And it ended up being, I felt 150% of who I used to be. I
Mm,
never felt better. I was 55 when I went pro, and I competed on the pro stage, and I became champion, a professional champion at 56.
mm,
And I did it all naturally. I'd walk onto
mm,
stage competing against women half my age doing steroids, and I would
mm,
win.
mm,
And I would win. That last year, 2015, I every stage I walked onto, I won. And it was all natural. I ate like 4,000, 4,500 calories a day, worked out one or two times a day, but it wasn't crazy. It was just
mhm,
consistent. So I created what I call the 7 pillar blueprint that I lived 24/7, 365 days a year. And I was able to walk onto stage and win. So
mm,
that's what was that translated into people asking me, how did you do that? Because in the bodybuilding arena, everybody does steroids. Everybody's looking for a quick fix. And I didn't. I created my own, um, I guess, blueprint to be able to show up and win. So
mm,
that's why people started asking me to coach them. And that
yeah.
led to leadership and emotional intelligence training,
Mhm,
and then transformation training. And then I got my certifications because I was coaching people just intuitively. And
mhm,
I have a gift. God gave me a gift. And I can see you through God's eyes. And when people are talking to me and sharing with me, I can hear their stories. I can hear their excuses. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I can hear what's keeping them stuck. I can
mhm,
hear and see their masks, and their armor that's weighing them down. And the work that I do, I call it soul diving, and I excavate the wounds from our childhood that are causing them to feel like they need to be protective and survive.
mhm,
So I just kind of chink, chink, chink and excavate a way to bring those wounds out in the sunlight. So then you can see them for yourself, and then you get to rewrite your story. And as we do that, thank goodness, thank God for neuroplasticity, because
yes.
we literally rewire your brain. And when we go into that old wound, that old memory, and we speak into it and we rewrite it to something that is really accurate, not the lie that we had to make up, because no one would clean up the version that we made up or that our brain made up to keep us safe, right? Or to
Hmm.
survive through that moment. People didn't come, our parents or friends or family didn't come and clean that version up. Say, hey, it wasn't your fault, or whatever the case may be. So we do that when you're deep in the emotion, and we rewrite that story and literally create a neural pathway in your brain. And your brain doesn't know that it isn't actually happening. It's phenomenal. And the tough part of this, what I call the inside job, is when you're in stress or you come across
Hmm.
a situation. Let's say you're dieting, and this is why diets don't work. I do a great big summit that says stop
Yeah.
dieting to lose weight. Um, we will have this great idea. We want to lose 20 pounds. We'll start a diet. It's all wonderful, and then we have a stressful bad day. And then when that happens, our brain goes into survival mode and we go back to the old neural path, the old way. And the chicken goes by the wayside and we go right for the bonbon, as I say. So the self-sabotaging is really our brain just trying to keep us safe. So that will play into sugar addictions,
Hmm.
alcohol addictions, anything like that. And this is the hardest work you'll ever do. And it's super simple. And we're going against what our brain is feeling like it's doing to keep us alive. But there's no
Hmm.
pterodactyls chasing us. It's just we're doing something different, and that's scary for our
You
brain.
know, I think that's really helpful for people to understand that many times the behavior that we're looking at today has roots that are very deep,
Mhm.
and they often are coming out of wounds that are very old.
Yes.
And until we actually experience God's healing of those wounds in our lives, we will continue to self sabotage.
Mhm.
And I was really fascinated by when people come to work with you and they're experiencing things like sugar addictions or they're addicted to weed or alcohol, etc. Where do you start in order to prepare them to rewire their brain in new ways?
Oh, this is the beautiful, what a great question. Thank you. When I first started coaching, it was all about nutrition. And I start everybody in the nutrition because I want to get your body cleaned up so that your mind, body, and soul can communicate. If you
Mhm.
have chemicals, preservatives, alcohol, and sugar in your body, those chemicals, there's like a gate to your mind, body, and soul. I tell my clients when I get done with you, you'll be able to look in the refrigerator and energetically feel what you can and cannot assimilate. So I start out with all my clients getting their body cleaned up, detoxed, whatever you want to say. I call it reset. And we just clean you up, and that will last as long as your body needs it to. And there's going to be withdrawals. And you will discover that you'll find your little empty buckets, your unmet childhood needs. You will just discover those. We will learn where and when you want love, because you may be craving sugar when, if you've had enough protein and you've had enough fat, then you won't be craving sugar itself or glycogen. You will be craving a hug or a connection. So that that part of your life gets to be attended to, if you will. So I clean up the body, and then and the interesting part about that is we'll create a menu based upon cleaning you up and being very clear on the choices you get to make to clean up. And wherever your resistance is on that menu, and when they come up, is where I get to go soul diving. That's the golden nugget for me, I call it. That's where I know there's a childhood wound. And that's also where you will self-sabotage. And so, by the way, self-sabotage, everyone that's watching, is not your fault. It is and does become your responsibility, though, when you become aware of the wound. So, being responsible, it's not taking responsible. Being responsible is everything, not just for this one thing. And you'll grow into that. You will heal into that. You'll up level into that. So that's where I discover where the wounds are, is when I get a lot
Mhm.
of resistance of like, Terry, you don't know what you're doing. Terry, no, I'm not going to eat that. Terry, I'm not going to do that. I'm too busy. It's like, oh my God, thank you so much, because that's right where I want. Bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it, right? That's where the resistance is. And so that's where the gold is. And that's right where I go soul diving.
Yeah. I think that's so interesting.
Mhm.
And that as we clean up our body, it sets the framework for us to clean up our minds and to be able to think better, have beliefs that align with reality versus being based on lies. All of those things depend also on getting our bodies in good shape. And so I love how you bring those two together. And one
Mhm.
of the other things that I know you've mentioned as we talked before was the importance of commitment.
Mhm.
How do you define commitment and why is that important?
Oh, such a good question. Gave me goosebumps. My seven pillar blueprint to inevitable success starts with vision. So we create your vision. You get to discover what it is. And the second thing is commitment. And I will ask people, what does commitment mean to you? And they'll say, doing my very best. And I'm like, that's just, that's going to get you to where you are right now. So commitment means doing whatever it takes. That means getting outside of the box, outside of your comfort zone, on the other side of your excuses, doing whatever it takes. I recently, um, oh, there's a couple of stories. Doing
Yeah.
whatever it takes. I recently flew to Toronto, Canada, because I hired a coach for me. I call her the guru of guru coaches, right? And I flew from here to Canada, and it was everything went wrong. Flights can't airport. I mean, it was like the last leg is like, oh my God. Some people would have just bagged it. It's like I did whatever it took. And it was like almost a 24-hour journey to get to an 8 hour it would have been a travel. So it's
Mhm.
like doing whatever it takes. Um, when I was sick, I learned that I wanted to get better again. And I was willing and learned how to dig deep and do whatever it takes, because the path isn't written out for us when we're doing blazing trails. We're getting to somewhere, or we're desiring to get to somewhere we've never been. We don't know how to get there. We know it's possible, or at least we think it is. We dream that it is, or we desire it. And it's scary. It's bigger than us. We don't know how. So, hiring a coach, hiring accountability, to teach you what it is like to do whatever it takes. I call it shoulder to shoulder with my clients. We do weekly calls so that, we don't go back to default in a reptilian brain and end up doing the same thing over and over again. So, yeah, that's one of the biggest things, because we all have excuses and we're so cozy and comfortable in our excuses. And it's everybody else's fault why I can't get there, right? Yeah.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
what it means.
I love that. And I think that's a great definition for us to remember doing whatever it takes. And that's the way to really implement commitment in your life if you want to get to the goals that you have set for yourself, whether it's around health and dropping your blood sugars or whatever it is that you know you need to do next. And I just really appreciate the fact that you've got a free gift for people here. And we have the link for it right under this video. So if you go to the description right under this video, you'll find the link to Terri's gift for you. And when you click on the link and go to the reset cleanse, what are people going to find?
They're going to find an in-depth detox reset cleanse. And that is a fraction. That is a kind of an overview of what I put through my clients through. I've even fine-tuned that more. We get you detoxed and then we'll fine-tune you more and get rid of inflammation as well. So, yeah, read it.
Okay.
If you get overwhelmed, please reach out to me. I believe that my contact information is on there. I will walk you through it, and you will feel better than you have in a long, 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 long time. You will look better. Your skin will look better. So we all want to look younger and lose a few wrinkles. I noticed that I'm 65, and so I have a little bit of the skin that's starting to be 65, darn it. But I started the dry brushing and it really went away. So I was
You do it
fascinated.
on your face too?
No, no,
Just the rest of your body?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because I was just curious because most of the time when I've heard about doing brushing, it's not usually to the face, but I was just curious.
yeah.
So I love it. Anyway, I just really appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today, Terri. And
Mhm.
all of you that are listening, remember, health is wealth, and it comes by choice, not by chance. So I really appreciate you showing up for yourself today. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Terri, for being here with us.
Of course, it's been my privilege to be able to serve your community. So thank you.
So good to have all of you here. We'll be in touch.